This is Hello Glass with another glass artist interview. Let's get started. Question number one. What is your name and are you a glass artist?
My name is Henry Grimmett, and I'm more of a glass manufacturer than I am a glass artist. I wouldn't call what I make art at all.
How long have you been making glass and do you consider yourself a master?
Well, I'm going to answer that with two different hats. One, I first got on the torch back in 1967. Quite a few of my friends did as well. They all went on to work at Disneyland, and they're still on the torch today, many years later. I myself went a different route and got back on the torch in 1996. And after being on the torch for about a year, I got involved with manufacturing glass. So I've been manufacturing glass since then, and definitely that glass teaches me something new all the time. I am not a master.
Your favorite style or type of glass to create with?
Hands down, this is the borosilicate glass. And obviously glass alchemy.
What state do you call home for your glass shop?
I call Portland my home. It happens to be in Oregon.
Do you own or work under a glass brand or an art name?
Yes, I Glass Alchemy, and the brand name is Boromax.
Do you make your living solely off glass making?
Do I make my living solely off of glass blowing? I would have to answer that in the affirmative, and I have to thank everybody watching these videos that's not a fan. Well, actually, even the fans. All the glass blowers help me make my living off of glass, and all the fans of the glass blowers help me make my living off of. So the answer is definitely yes.
If you could make glass with anyone living, who would that person be?
Well, again, two hats. If I can make glass, there's a rather renowned person in the glass industry who's no longer, well, he's got to be living. Probably today would be a fellow by the name of Shelby. But to talk about glass blowing, quite honestly, I enjoy working with Thomas, making both the glass and glass blowing.
Great answer.
So,
What style or technique in glass is hardest for you?
Again, my skills on the torch are pretty rudimentary, and so I would say both the hard and soft glass are difficult, and all the styles are difficult. So I struggle there.
Name two people that taught or influenced your glass skills.
I was taught initially by a person that's pretty far underground. His name is Larry Eichmann. He's in the Portland area, Washougal. But the person who influenced me the most, both from coming here and showing me stuff through his videos, when I run onto him on the road, Lewis Wilson has been huge inspiration and teacher for me.
Is there any style or technique of glass that you would or will learn in the future?
Absolutely. My training was in hollow work, and solid work. And as I move closer to retirement, I really want to learn hollow work, and I want to get good enough where I can, not be totally embarrassed when I fire up the torch and give a dip.
Name two glass artists that impress you.
Oh, that's definitely difficult because there's a lot of glass artists today that impress me. But over the years, there's been one person who has consistently come up to the front and impressed me. He's kind of led the curve. He's dragged the curve behind him. And I would have to say that Clinton Roman has really stood out in my mind as somebody that's an excellent instructor, a remarkable artist, And then, quite honestly, I turned a little bit to soft glass and to the Italian artists, and Lucio Babacco definitely impressed me for a lot of the same reasons like them. The willingness to step out of the box.
What style or techniques in glass amazed you when you first saw it?
Back in 1997, after I started learning how to make claws for crabs and little leaves to put mermaids on and that sort of thing, I saw a mushroom push. That amazed me. For everybody out there, let me remind you, it was a long time ago, and that was pretty impressive to everybody, not just me. But that was. But even before that, going back to the guys that were working at Disneyland and making the little figurines. My friend Ralph Jones, when he left Disneyland to become an independent artist, he was making these windswept trees, which today, you can see pictures of it in Homer White's book and that sort of thing, and it's not particularly impressive. But when I saw one of his first trees, I was actually really blown away, and that's probably the thing that got me the most, and it allowed me to make that decision in '96 to come back in and actually do glass. Was that windswept tree.
Worst injury you ever got making glass art?
I've had worse injuries from paper cuts, quite honestly. But working with the glass, I do slice and dice myself quite a bit, so I go through a lot of Band-Aids. But I wouldn't say that there's any particular bad injuries or anything like that.
What do you wish to accomplish in the glass industry?
Excuse me here. What would I like to accomplish? In some ways, when Susan and I, Susan, my wife, and I started this company, there were about 33 named colors, of which there were about 4 usable, and 6 or and the rest of them were just different concentrations of the same color. We said what we wanted to do is really expand the glass palette. We wanted the bright orange, yellow colors. We wanted a whole bunch of other things that happened within the color palette. And in some ways, I feel like I've accomplished a lot of that already. And what I'm going to accomplish next really is watch Thomas accomplish what I didn't get to. And so that's, or I should say Thomas and Jody both.
How does a glass fan get to see or buy your work?
The best place, glassalchemy.com, okay? And in the future, off my Facebook, because I will have work there.
And what's your Facebook?
Well, that's a good question. What is my Facebook? Henry Grimmett.
Spell your last name?
Grimmett.
You've got 3 minutes to tell the world whatever you want. Go for it.
First, I'm going to take a swig from my throat. I'd just like kind of reminisce a moment for the people out there that they're new to glass blowing and to this movement. I've been involved with it now, calculate the years, 15, 16 years. And when I first would go to a bead show or a marble show or to a head shop, because there weren't a whole lot of pipe events, except maybe at a fish concert. The pipes you saw were clear glass with fume on it. The marbles, people like Jesse Todd and Jesse and some others were doing some very intricate work, but it often couldn't be seen because it was fumed over from the silver coming out of the glass. And same thing with a lot of the beads. And as we introduced our colors into the palette, and they were able to now make very distinct colors, actually yellows instead of the silver fume, and they could put black lines in between these colors, all of a sudden the work just became amazing. And I could walk up and down some of these shows and listen to people pat these artists on the back and say, boy, your work is just amazing last year. And then they would come up to me and say, my work really hasn't changed, thank you for the colors. And so there was a huge change, in 2000, 2004. And as I went around the country teaching classes on working with the silvers, so to control, is it going to be yellow, is it going to be purple, is it going to be green? How do you prevent having mud? How do you bring the metallics to the surface? The next year, I would see what I would say out loud reflected in the work, and that was, to me, personally, very amazing. But what the artist did with that little bit of information was absolutely mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. And initially in some of those first workshops, when I get two different shops together, there'd be fistfights in the parking lot. And even though I was kind of an old-timer already at that time, I'd be pulling guys apart and hoping that I could scare them enough that they didn't actually just take me out. And but now these shops come together and we see collabs, and we see absolutely amazing work coming out of the collabs. And so over time, I have seen the work go from small, well crafted for the materials that are available, but today not particularly impressive. I've got a lot of that work in my collection, to some just absolutely amazing pieces that really challenge the edges of art. They challenge the edges of what we can do with the glass. The kiln builders, the torch builders, the tool makers have all had to scramble to keep up, where these young gals and guys, and some of them, as they've started out in their 20s, are now in their 30s with kids, have bought houses, to watch them to grow in the industry and have this become a career, not just a bad habit, which a lot of their teachers thought it might be, and a lot of their parents thought it might be. Has been absolutely amazing, and the community that's grown up has, for me, been very personally rewarding to be part of it. And again, I thank everybody out there for supporting me, and now I thank everybody for allowing me to be part of what really is a phenomenal community in the history of man. Not just the 60s and 70s, but we've had a whole generation of guys and gals pull themselves up by their own bootstraps, create jobs, create careers, create an industry.
Awesome. This was Hello Glass with another Real Glass Artist interview. Thank you so much for your time.